It's not like him. I got you. Get it out, get it all together.
Yeah, I think people's gonna be doing that now.
Just slide up, yeah.
Yeah.
As I'm looking. Let me click on that at the bottom. Hopefully this one. I should be it's the camera. Does it look like this or does it look regular?
It don't look nothing like that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's probably the bad connection.
Connection, yeah. Con. Get started.
Yep.
All right, Shalom Makim. Wagwaf, first and foremost, before we start, we want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to all the fellow laborers of the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And we're just going to get right into it. All right, as you see the title, Playtime is over.
Right.
All right, playtime is over. And as the scriptures say, I believe Ecclesiastes 8:5, it says a wise man's heart discerneth time and judgment. So, what manner of person ought you to be at this time? What mindset, what vibration should you be in? Knowing that the Lord is going to bring terror, to the world, especially right here in Babylon the Great. We're seeing that prophecy is coming to pass every day. All right, so, there's no time right now in the time of judgment to be in this whole, fun going, let's get lit, turn up spirit. That spirit is out, man. We're just coming out of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which we all know, going back to the history, that was a very serious time. People got judged, people got killed. Hey, the Feast of the Unleavened Bread may be over, but the destroyer is still out there.
Right.
So you need to carry yourself as such.
I got to preach it.
Yep.
Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 18. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out, and I will give them, and I will get them. Coming. He saw the sword of the Lord. So, what man or person is all you should need to be?
That's right.
I got something real quick too. As Matthew, the 9th chapter, verse 14. Then came to him the disciples of John, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast oft, but thy disciples fast not? And Yahushua said unto them, can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then shall they fast. So the reason to read this is to indicate that, look, Yahushua was telling them there was a time for that turn-up spirit, and it's not that time now. Yahushua isn't here in the physical sense. He's not here to turn. When he returns, that's the turn-up spirit.
Yep.
But right now it's not the turn-up spirit, because it's not the task that's at hand.
Right.
The hand at task is to push this word, and remember that at any point in time you can get taken out and not be found worthy of this thing that you put your hand to. So, I mean, this is something that shouldn't even really be a topic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly, like this behavioral stuff, Paul on lock. Some of these other churches were dealing with other issues, so it makes sense. You're gonna have guys out there in different groups, camps, whatever, that they're gonna struggle with knowing the right time and season, as the scriptures tell you that there's a time and a season to everything under the sun.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
right.
Oh, you got it?
It's Ecclesiastes 3 at the top. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know right now the time is to be solemn. It's a solemn time. It's not a time, just to be, always like partying and celebratory, because there's nothing to celebrate right now.
If I may add in, we got to understand when ancient Egypt happened, for the time of the Passover, we didn't have the understanding at the time that the Egyptians with these plagues. We weren't sure, but we were getting the messages from Moses of what we should do to escape that judgment. Okay, and then coming out of this Egypt now, you have to keep in mind that 2/3 of us, the whole nation, went out pretty much unscathed. The first Egypt. This one, 2/3 of us are going to get destroyed. I'm talking about 2/3 of you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners that are of Israel. Okay, 2/3 of us are going to get jacked up, particularly here in America, but really all over the whole earth. So there's no real turn-up moment, because we're celebrating before we get to the touchdown in the end zone.
That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Why celebrate before the victory?
Mm-hmm. We're gonna
You ain't
celebrate
get
on
in
the
it.
chariot, man.
Yeah, you didn't get in the end zone yet.
It's like Jake when they be celebrating and drop the ball.
The tribulation.
Mhm.
They want the celebration before the victory.
They want to be,
Right.
there's no way to tiptoe around it.
But that's the thing. A lot of people honestly believe or even submit to Yahweh. That's why you get a lot of those outside thoughts and vibrations, where people want to supersede Yahweh Shai, when the Most High said, "This is my son in whom I am well pleased, hear ye him." So he's given us plenty of instruction, and a lot of it is, they even color coordinated for a lot of you, because reading comprehension is difficult. But you can get Bibles where it's got red letters, so that it's Yahweh Shai speaking,
Yeah.
right? And so like, just for an example, I'm not going to read all this, but in Matthew's the 5th chapter, it talks about who's blessed, and it lists the poor in spirit, they that mourn, because they'll be comforted. So if you're in a turn up spirit, hey, you already got your crown, and it's going to be embarrassing when Yahweh Shai comes back. He's like, hey, step down off of these club boxes and all this mirth and high-mindedness. Hey, step the hell down and go back outside. He'd be like, what?
Like when you in a room with great men, and you at the big table, you go sit down yourself at the big table, and then you be called for a greater man to come up to the big table, and you got to take that walk of shame down.
See?
Hey, the worst feeling is going to be in this truth, giving your sincerity that you believe, your sincerity to Yahweh Shai, and not make it.
Yeah.
Because the leader that you chose may have guided you down the wrong path. Okay?
Yeah.
That's why we're so diligent here at Great Millstone, to make sure that every movement we make in the spirit is through the spirit.
And working through fear, man.
That's right.
Every step you take,
Mhm.
it's-
You still reading? Yeah, look over the make your point, whatever.
This brother got priest. Oh, you're still
He's
reading that. You're reading that.
Yeah.
Because as we say too, man, the victory is the elect have the victory. We understand that, but it still has to play out in the physical sense, man.
Yep.
And because you don't know if you're of the elect, man. That's why we're in the lots and doing the things that a man of the elect will be doing, man. And the scripture says that it's better to go to the house of mourning than to the house of feasting, man. Because in doing that, the scriptures tell you, man, you're not girded in your minds, always in your folly, man. You're not prepared for the seriousness that's about to happen. You in that turn up spirit, that's what the 2/3 are doing.
Yep.
So what separates you from them?
The same vibration.
Oh, that you're an Israelite? Oh, cause what, you got the sinews on you? Hey, well, so do they. What about the breath, man?
Yep.
What about the breath? Because the scriptures say what? Hey, we have to prophesy, man. Hey, your actions should show forth the difference. The actions are the separation. So if your actions aren't showing that you're separated, then what? You're yoked in with the unbelievers. Meaning what? You're pardoned unto death.
Okay, to add on to what you said, quoting Ecclesiastes,
Come, bro.
the wise is in the house of mourning.
Yeah.
Why? Because what is it? Another word used for wise is what? To be prudent.
Yeah.
The prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself.
What's the opposite of wise?
Mm.
A fool.
Fool.
And it says a wise man hideth his folly, but I think it says something along like, but a fool declare his, or something to that effect.
Mhm.
You see?
So you declare it sin, I think it is something.
Yeah. Meaning that it's gonna be outwardly. They're gonna be showing you, which Yahweh never taught that characteristic. He always taught you, look, go pray in secret that you be rewarded openly.
Yep.
You're not supposed to be showboating with this truth. And really, it's not just because of the truth. That's what they call like beatitudes or whatever. You know, there's personality traits you're supposed to have and develop. Man. Right. You know, you can't come in from the world and make the mold fit you. You have to come in from the world, become malleable, okay, like putty, like molten, metal, and be folded into the mold that's before you. That's becoming the new creature. You can't bring in these old impurities with you. They got to get beat out.
Right.
And that's why we're here. We're here to be a punishment. Matter of fact,
I got a
yeah, go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 9. And when I looked, and behold, a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein, which is the Bible. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations, mourning, and woe.
All of those are negatives. Those are all turned downs. Those are not turned ups. I just want to say that those are just that simple to understand, because what's written in this book, judgments, man. Okay, and then mercy from judgments. Not to say that we're not getting out of here and we shouldn't be in a rejoicing. Also, we shouldn't be in a woe is me. But this particular time in this season now, we should all understand this is a very solemn season anyway. Okay, where a lot of, if you don't watch a step, you could have stepped on a landmine in this war. Spiritual landmine.
You have to understand that it's not going to get any better, especially for the men of the Lord. We're going to have to suffer in this. And a lot of people aren't willing to suffer for Yahweh Shai's sake. And that's what it boils down to. When you push that vibration out to Israel, and you think that you get the illusion like this is what this truth is all about. It's not. It's about doing the work and being remorseful and repenting and building yourself so you can be accepted by Yahweh Shai at the end of the day.
We're not
doing all that you may be counted worthy to stand before the Son of Man. That's what you're doing.
The whole turn up, about to drop the new Israelite album, all of that type of spirit, man. Social media giant and all of that, man, that's out. That stuff is not in the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Yeah, if you gain in, like there's brothers in Great Millstone I use as an example that they're in that have a certain large following. That's different because they're not known for the energy that they're in. They're known for the spirit that they're in. They're not. Yeah, they're pushing you out. They know that when this person cuts on the camera, they about to get edified. They about to eat.
Because that's what we're saying, man. What Jake is doing by presenting their folly before the congregation, man. Hey, you're not heaping fruit meat for repentance, man. Hey, you're heaping in men that aren't being cleansed by the Spirit, man. They're bringing in that same old man into the body. Hey, which makes the body defiled, man. Which means the temple is defiled.
You put leaven in the house.
What change do these men have to make when they come into your congregation? Because it seems as if
put on fringes. That's it.
Learn the word.
That's what it seemed to be. That's if you're able to gravitate worldly Jake to your congregation because they're used to seeing you in that spirit and not in that solemn spirit, not in the spirit of meekness and seriousness. It's like they don't have to really change what spirit that they were in when they were in the world.
This is why the scripture says that one out of every 1,000 men, Solomon found one righteous. So it's showing you that there's supposed to be a scrutiny. You don't just let anybody come in. What? They grew a beard, they stopped eating pork and put fringes on? That's not good enough. The scriptures tell you how and when to, rejoice, just like the brother was reading in Ecclesiastes. I can read this real quick just to finish up this Matthew's the 5th chapter. I'm gonna start read 11 to 12. It says, "Blessed are the prophets which were before you." And this is what brothers are pointing out the whole time, is that all these men that you read about want to turn up and emulate, they weren't turning up in solemn in serious times. Nobody in their right mind would do that. The only time where there was that turn up spirit was when Israel actually had control and power, and the Most High was actually with them when they were actually obedient.
That's right.
Right, we don't have that. Even if the 1/3 was like all together on the same accord like that, nah, man, because you still have the 2/3. The Most High looks at us as a nation. You can't forget these simple golden rules. You know, these are simple golden rules. I was telling the brother Yakanan, just like in math, you have certain golden rules. You got to follow your cosine, tangent. You know, what was the other one?
Seeking,
Sine. Yeah, you gotta. You know, you have these golden rules that you know when you solve a problem, it's gotta fit inside the mold. And that's what the law is the schoolmaster. It helps you fit things inside the mold. That's what everything written aforetime was written for your learning. So you can fit things inside this mold to see, does it check out? Does it balance out? Does this make sense?
All things are lawful, but not all things expedient. Right. That's not expedient to be in that type of spirit.
Right.
Because you grow in quality when the law is established within you.
That's right.
You know, that's when you're able to fully reach, you know, your potential, so to speak, man. So when these occurrences of Jake being in the truth and in the world, hey, the scriptures tell you cannot serve two masters, man. Either you will love one and hate the other. Well, that's what you're doing. Because Yahweh Shah wasn't about all mirth. You know, he was serious. Hey, because what the scriptures say, the affliction of an hour maketh the man forget pleasure, man. Yeah. With us being girded, you know, and being focused and hearkening unto the words of Yahweh Bashim Shai, hey, that wisdom and knowledge that we're building up is going to be the stability of your time, man. But when you presenting that it's nothing but music being played, it's nothing but rap music being made, bottle service and hoes dancing, hey, well, how are you separating yourself to be stable, man? You're not. You're doing the same thing that the niggas in the rap industry doing.
I want the brothers to read if you can hold what you was reading. I know brothers always something. Z, could you go back to that in that Ezekiel, I believe it was?
Ezekiel 2?
Yep. Or was it, no, the 3rd chapter, I think is where it's going to say that.
Started 1?
But wherever that bitter and the sweet is.
That's the last verse of 2.
Okay, yeah, if you could hit that.
Ezekiel 3:1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness.
Yeah, this thing is super sweet. It's wonderful when you first learn it, until you digest it and it becomes a lifestyle, and then you realize the responsibility that you have. Then it becomes bitter. Okay, as it digests and the understanding comes to you of what you're really responsible over. Okay, that's when it's like, oh shit, I don't know if I signed up for this. And a lot of congregations out there are going to lose followers left and right because the image of what they came into isn't what the fullness of what this is going to be about. Okay, that when they're required to be heads of camps and have certain breakdowns, they're gonna wing it and get their congregation destroyed, man.
Much wisdom is much grief.
Yep, much wisdom is much grief, and he that is
increases knowledge, increases sorrow.
Here it is.
I got the one Revelation.
That's
Revelation
one.
Yeah, Revelation 10:9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Yeah,
when it's in your mouth, this is beautiful to go cuss Esau out and to cuss our women that's going off out and to point out all of the inconsistencies of with wickedness that's going on in the earth. But when you have to actually make changes within yourself, things that you liked about yourself, you got to take the load. That whole Sirach 2 chapter is to forewarn you of what you have to, the changes that you have to make. So when you make them changes, you think that it's just going to be all sweet. When we read that chapter, which I was holding it, but when we read that chapter, you should be getting the understanding that this is not a cakewalk. This is not fun. That damn, I gotta change up everything about who I liked about myself. But that's gonna make you a better person. It's gonna make you a better servant unto the Heavenly Father, which in that regard will get you the greatest opportunity for salvation. That was the point of that.
Build you in the spirit also, you know.
I got some.
Yeah, I got more on this.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah,
Verse
Where is it saying?
10, Revelation
Okay,
10:10, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey, and as soon as I eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. You know, a lot of guys don't think they're prophets.
Yeah,
you know?
not everybody's a prophet, right? But that's you want the prophet's reward, don't you? Okay. And then here's the toughest part, just a reality check for a lot of us. When we come into this thing, we know all this truth and it's wonderful, but we all have our families around us. But when the Most High really starts at the sanctuary and starts knocking off your closest loved ones and your family members, that's gonna make you really bitter. And then you're gonna supposed to be holding on to the knowledge, wisdom, and the comfort of the scriptures through the Spirit. But when you haven't been practicing that all this time, what are you gonna hold on to? You're gonna be having anger and disdain, and it's gonna push out your congregation, and it's gonna go nowhere, man. Okay. That's the part that you people haven't realized. Even if, like the brother was alluding to, even if the elect, the 144,000 and 1/3 were rescued and saved and in a merciful spirit, we still got 2/3 of the rest of our nation that are about to perish right before our eyes. We still have to watch this: men, women, children, babies, little girls, everything, man. All the most sacred of people, grandmas, grandpas, everybody, man, with no mercy. Okay?
And if you're not in the spirit, if you don't understand death, like you were saying, you're going to bug out. And, you know, your congregation, you're going to push that same vibration to your congregation.
Unstable.
Yeah, well, I think like all these horror movies Esau come out with, it's gonna become reality because they get all them movies from the scriptures. So what kind of mindset you got to be in? All those horror movies gonna come meet you right at your face. Man.
Apparitions.
Yeah. Hey, to say you guys.
I was gonna make a point. You see, the reason why the prophets were in a very bitter spirit is because these times that we're coming into, they saw previews through visions.
Yeah.
They saw these things happen in a vision, and after they saw those visions, they was sorrowful. Man. They would put out cash ash. They would put ash on their head. They would rip out their beards. Some of them got sick to where they threw up.
And Ezra, I was reading today, was Ezra the 5th chapter. He had to take time off. I take time off, but take a break.
Digest it.
Yeah, because he was getting too many visions.
You gave him like a week off.
Yeah, 7 days. Right. I'll come back to you. I got some more.
That's how serious it is.
Yeah,
because it wasn't a vision like an art gallery.
No.
This was vivid. Like it was like
an X-Men when they go to that chamber.
The Professor X's chamber. It was reality.
And if I can, Baba Kushah, the word for bitter in the Greek
Revelation
is pikraino in the Greek, and it says to make bitter, to produce a bitter taste in the stomach, to embitter, exasperate, render angry, indignant, to be embittered, irritated,
vexed, irritated, and vexed, go hand in hand.
To visit with bitterness, to grieve.
Hey, why do we put these why do we have these tattered garments on? Why do these sackcloth throughout? Why do we have these on and not glorious garments? Because we understand we're in a mournful state and we're about to see our nation get hit to pieces, man. I mean, where they begin to ask, is he going to destroy the whole nation? He's killing up everything. The animals make you angry? Golly.
The rivers.
Yeah, they ain't everything. He pissed at everything? Yes. Because everything's lying in wickedness. And so what type of fear do you really have for Yahweh? Why Yahweh Shai if you're not in that type of mind state?
That's on. This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
Is that the same chapter that tells you to put off the old man, put on the new man? And also, there's one in Ephesians, third or fourth chapter.
No, this
So finish your precept, then we'll look for it.
verse 17. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is.
Yeah, what's the will of the Lord? The will of the Lord is to destroy 2/3 of our nation and a lot of people off the face of the earth. This is going to be another Noah event. You think they understood fully? 422. You think they fully understood or believed what Noah was talking about before the flood came in? And everybody but the 8 souls and those animals that were on the ark were saved? This is that type of event that's coming to the earth. There'll be more people that make it, not just 8, but that's not the point. Everything's about to get hit with fire, man. People are about to get laid the hell down. If you're just okay with smelling death and blood and gun smoke and murder and the vibration out there, then okay, then you're ready to turn up if that's what you're about. But I don't think there's a man walking the earth today that's ready for that, because most of them that come back from war, you know, they come back not all PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder.
The scripture says, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. For what end shall it be unto you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light.
Those souls went through training.
Kind.
Thank you.
They still come out.
They still come out bugged out.
And we understand that it's a thin line between the flesh and the spirit. You know, your flesh is telling you to turn up. Your flesh wants to turn up. But if you're in the spirit, you should know better. You know,
Exactly.
you should know better.
Hey, going because you mentioned the time of Noah, the people there was in that spirit.
Yep.
They was turning up. They was eating
Yes,
and
sir.
drinking and
Giving in
giving in
marriage.
marriage.
Yep.
Noah and his family
I'm
wasn't.
gonna go this the whole.
He actually built in fear.
Yep.
He was in fear the whole time. He was, you know, taking instruction of the Lord and building that ark up, man.
Am I gonna finish in time? Like,
Come on.
damn, like how much, like, you know? And it's building a boat. You're working with wood. Like, you're gonna run into like all the frustrations of the flesh, splinters, smacking your thumb.
Yeah, that's why Revelation 7 said the Lord is not going to destroy it till the elect be sealed. You know, so Noah had to get finished. You know, with that ark.
Right.
You know?
But still, we don't know when that.
Yeah.
You don't know. You know.
Because it ain't just like, you know, back in the time of Noah, it never rained.
Yep.
You know,
So
so
we never knew nothing like this.
yeah, they never knew. They didn't know what to expect. Noah didn't know what to expect.
And the people on earth today don't know what to expect, man.
We-
Death everywhere.
If we don't know what to expect, we have the instructions on what to expect to a degree, but it says a time that has never been since there was a nation.
Generalization.
Yeah, come. You have a generalization, but shit, that shit, man, it's gonna be out of this world, man.
I want to throw a scenario out there real quick that we can hit these precepts. Who's the, you know, there's all you tough guys, shooters out there, y'all just shooters, and y'all got the trigger happy shooter, you know, y'all on point every time with that. But how many people on the earth are prepared to hear loud gunshots right next to their face, right next to their body, or even in your direction?
Or screams.
Screams of blood curdling screams and all of that, man.
Screams.
Who's ready for constantly hearing that?
Rape.
Bah 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 bah. And it just, you just stay cool, calm, and collected. It don't work that way. Your nervous system is gonna kick in, and what is your nervous system tied to? It's tied to your flesh. If you don't have the stability of wisdom of what to do in that moment, if you haven't been practicing it, you're gonna revert back to that default setting, which is of the flesh, man.
Like that movie Bushwick.
Yeah.
Bushwick.
Yeah.
That was a civil war right there.
Yeah.
Man.
And that was just in one small little
Yeah, they really
section of the town.
You know, y'all got whatever.
Let's
Yeah,
start
right.
one more verse. I'll read it again, right? Yeah, back in Ephesians chapter 5, and verse 15. See that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is, and be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit.
See. So, what kind of like when you read something like that? When you read that, what kind of what picture is painted in your mind to not be in a serious state of mind? You know, like when you actually read these scriptures and you comprehend what's being said and the context and the times and, you know, the mannerisms and all this stuff, like how do you come to these conclusions? I don't understand when people come to these turn up
What book are you
conclusions.
reading?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that. What? Like real quick, I want to read this. Is Luke 20 and 46. Beware of the scribes which desire to walk in long robes and love greetings in the markets and the highest seats in the synagogues.
Want to run around getting high fives from everybody, man.
And the chief.
Not warning the people.
And the chief rooms at feasts, which devour widows' houses, and for a show make long prayers. The same shall receive greater damnation. So between reading what the brother had just read and seeing what Yahweh Shai himself said, that kind of paints a picture for you. Like if you're putting 2 and 2 together, you should come up with 4. But if you're getting another number, I understand. This isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why the scriptures talk about judgment beginning at the house of the Most High first and cleaning that house out, because it's like, no, if you are saying you're a representative, just because you got a red shirt and khakis doesn't mean you work at Target.
Right.
You know, you got a lot of guys that got the uniform on, but you're not embodying the company policy and conduct, you're fired. You know, you're out of there. It's like you brothers a whole bunch of free stuff.
Yeah. I got something to go. All right, this is our first Thessalonians 5 and 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
For when they shall say turn up.
Yeah.
It's the safety.
Because you think that Jake, in that, you know, in that setting, at that, you know, if they're after what's it called, after party, after the Passover, whatever they call it, you think they were in a place of
Reflection, shit.
Right, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think they were worried about Esau kicking down the door? Hell no, it was wide open. They wasn't in a place of, you know, in a mind state of you know, worried about the enemy coming in like a flood. Because that's what, and then right when you're most comfortable, that's when they're gonna come. And Jake was comfortable as hell, you know.
Like the elder Yashua said in this video, what would John the Baptist say if he walked in that place? or any other prophets?
Yeah.
What would they say if they walked in there and saw all those men?
Yeah, I wish I walked in.
Yes.
Right.
If he appeared in the room, and y'all in the name of Yahweh, there shall you find me in the midst of, you know, 3 or more gathered in the name. If he walked in the room, what would he think?
Would he even be there in the first place?
Yeah, he wouldn't want to go in there.
Yeah, even Moses, because you know when Moses came down from that mountain, and saw Jake rising up, turning up, right? It said that they rose up to play.
Yep.
So what you think Moses did? You know, what spirit was he in? You know, so y'all damn sure would have invited the Lord to your Passover. You know, and we ain't just talking about a specific. This is in general.
No, this is a warning. If I may say it this way, this is a warning to all Israel. Everybody that believes in this word of Yahweh Shem Shai, that this is the end times, and the Hebrew Israelites are you know, we're the real Hebrew Israelites and all of this stuff, then you need to take mind of that, man. That whether you're choosing a camp, whether you're learning from a camp, that you need to be prudent in the ways that you choose and the actions that you make, man, and consider the end of what will be happening. Okay. And then we know the end because of the prophecies. That a lot of death is coming, man. And it's going, and a lot of people that believe in this thing aren't going to make it, man. They're going to have to prove their faith, and it may come, you know, as a mark.
Yeah, even Ezra knew, you know, when he got the vision, he said, "Woe is me, woe is me. Who shall deliver me in those times?" Because he got to see mass death. He got to see the beginning of sorrow. You know, he saw all these things transpire. So there was no point in time when the prophets of the Lord were in that spirit. Okay, they were serious. They lived an austere life. A lot of them lived solitary. They wasn't around the people like that. You know,
They were rough men. You know, they like was it John the Baptist? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And something to remember, Now let me give a quick understanding for you. The scriptures say a lot of times to rejoice. That don't mean turn up, man. That means be in a positive mind state.
Yeah.
That don't mean get out there and be, turning up and got, that don't mean that, man.
Right.
Drinking in excess and high-fiving with the regular common folk. Okay, if that's what some of you do, that's cool. But they supposed to look at you as a higher power, that you have a higher calling unto that someone that they can look up to, that they can say, you know what, I see what this guy's doing. I want to be more like him. Let me stop doing this. But when you see them in a turn up folly spirit, then it's like, and then if I can say something particularly to somebody on there, that wherever the shoe fits, you shouldn't be recording this shit anyway, man. You should have control over your situation and where your congregation is holding their situations at. That you don't have, that that the folly and rejoicing that you do spiritually won't be mistaken by putting it out there for the world to see and misinterpret, if that's your sincerity of what you're doing.
Let me say this too. You're supposed to be gathering the elect by the word, not by these gimmicks and parties and all that type of stuff. It's supposed to be the word that's gathering, the elect.
Yeah,
Okay.
edification.
Yeah.
Who else has something? Yeah, you can get it. Yeah, I know you probably on 2, 3.
Coming from 1 Peter 4 and
Beautiful.
it's like at 5. I'm gonna start at 4 and 7. Then I'm gonna 5 again. Is
Start at 1, bro. Sorry.
yeah, which one?
1 Peter 4. That's verse 1, bro.
God, is 1 Peter 4 and 1. For as much then as Yahweh Shai has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind.
Yeah. Was he in a happy turn up spirit all the time? How many times was he sitting at the table at the Last Supper, right? Sitting there, and he wasn't up there just happily rejoicing. He knew that the judgment was coming after this feast, and he knew somebody in the room was about to turn on him.
I believe they was on the run too.
Yeah, they was already on. They was secretly trying to hold this down, the feast right there. You got it, bro.
Can you read the top part again?
For as much then as Yahweh Shai has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind.
So you should have you should try to strive to have the same mind of our Lord.
That's right.
All right, and hey, he was in the flesh just like you was. He was made in the likeness of sinful flesh. So that means that he had desires too.
Yeah.
You don't
Acquainted
think
with grief.
He was
coming?
coming.
Yeah.
But he knew that he knew that he had a mission. He knew that his meat was to do the will of his Father. So all that had to go on the back burner, man. So he had to suffer in the flesh for us. And he left an example. So we should be picking up on that same example, man. He's the author and finisher of our faith. He's the model.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of you dudes out there, you don't like the model. You create your own little lane.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you do that, there's only one way. There's only one. It's through Yahweh Shai. That's the door of the sheepfold. All right. So if you want to reinvent the wheel, you see how that works out for you. Go ahead.
It says, for he that has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his life. That he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Yahweh.
Yeah, because that's of the world.
Yeah.
The lust of men, that's the things of the world, the things the world care for, man.
If you have a hobby that you do that brings you joy, okay, that's cool, but that don't mean you put it all before your own congregation, let alone before the whole congregation of Israel out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's important? It's that better is he that hideth his folly. Your brother quoted it earlier. I'm trying to think of the other part of that. But it's better that you hide your folly. Okay, there was 2 of them that said that.
The wise man will hide his folly.
Huh?
The wise man will hide his folly.
Yeah, there's one in Sirach also, I believe.
And the fool will declare like his sins.
That was one of them.
I guess so.
Is it the one I'm thinking?
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, Uncle Shaw, real quick.
I got it.
You got it?
Sirach 20 and 31. Better is he that hideth his folly than a man that hideth his wisdom.
Right. So you don't hide the wisdom, that you have to come back and explain yourself later about.
But that's the whole problem. Wisdom is a demonstration of knowledge.
There it is.
So when you see a lack of the demonstration of knowledge, and there's been a ton of videos, you know, not even from this year, but from videos past that are a continuing pattern and a trend, it lets you know that there's wisdom that is deprived from a lot of these people because their spirit, their soul is malicious, which the scriptures tell you that wisdom will not dwell with the malicious soul. So when you see all these guys in these other groups, and it's a continued behavior, and the pattern never changes, hey, you know damn well the Most High wrote them off.
Yep.
He has no love for him because the Most High tells you that whoever he loves, he'll chastise. And that's why Yahweh Shai said, the time to turn up is when people, you know, shit on you, for lack of a better word, for his name's sake. You know, that's when you turn up. You rejoice, just like when the disciples turned up because they got beat for teaching in the name. That was the time to turn up. Did they turn up? Was it did they have little, little toys and poppers and stuff? No, it was they walked away celebrating. They rejoiced.
They called him his name,
right?
You know, because they called Lord Yahweh Shai.
Right, and so that was just a moment in time. They didn't carry on that. How long did they celebrate?
They wouldn't celebrate when they went back on the street.
Right. All right, keep it down. They know who we are now. We gotta get out of here. Being wise as a serpent, harmless as doves. Yahweh Shai, if you've really been trying to learn and be an actual student, after some years, man, you gotta demonstrate wisdom. It's not just a word that you can throw out. It's an application. It's a demonstration, and a lot of people don't know how to demonstrate wisdom. They'll talk about knowledge, and because that's all this is. It's just knowing something is knowledge. Knowledge can be powerful if you know what you're doing with it. But if you're not using it the right way, then you're a fool. It's one or the other. You either become a fool or you become wise with this word. There's no other way. To back up what the brother Karatazar was saying, John 10:1, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same as a thief and a robber.
Mm-hmm.
You got guys, like you said, they don't want to come in the right way. You don't want to get down with Yahweh Shai's program. You don't believe that the Most High is dealing with them. You want to throw out. But the Yahweh Shai even set up Paul. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole chain of events now. And Yahweh Shai is like, look, Moses prophesied of me. So the same people that don't want to obey Yahweh Shai really are the same people that didn't want to obey Moses. They started bending Aaron's arm to get him to build that golden calf because Moses wasn't returning like he used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they do? They freaked out and they turned up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good look, man.
I got something. This is Romans chapter 13, and I'll keep it short. Verse 12. The night is far spent.
You can read verse 11, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep it short, bro.
That's good. 11 good. You
I'll
can
start
read
at
verse
11. And that knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Because that verse, when you go into that, it's a lot of in different references of the time of the Lord. Particularly, I believe it's that First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, or was it? First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. It tells you, man, that you have to wake up out of sleep. That a lot of the things that the people were doing were in that party and turn up spirit, man, and it wasn't wise. Okay, those were attributed to darkness.
Yeah, and this was going back to the Roman Empire, which they was all about partying. It was all about festivities, Epicureanism, giving into the flesh, drinking excessive wine, brawls, getting into fights and all type of stuff, man. So Jake had that spirit on him, even coming into the truth. So, Paul had to address him and tell him, hey, now is the high time to awake out of sleep. It's time for you to snap out of that spirit. Time to receive this engrafted word, which is able to save your soul. Go ahead.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light.
Because when we look at some of the way, and I'm gonna even throw it toward the great millstone, you know, not to say that we're blameless for what we do, but simply when you look at these folly turned up videos by any of the congregations of Israel, you know, you have to remember that there are people that are looking at this and they don't understand the difference of what the world is doing versus what we're doing. And it says, we've been bringing this out all week anyway, to abstain from all appearances of evil. Okay, and that dark spirit is an evil spirit that's on our people. That, hey, our people, what do when times get rough? They drug up, they drink up, and they party on.
Yeah.
You know, that's the spirit that when times get rough, our people want to be delusional and remove themselves out of it.
What shows too is a whole lack of care, because you could have did that, you know, any of these scenarios, but don't televise that event.
Yep.
That's all you had to do. You know, that's, you know, but then that's a whole nother realm, because anything that's hidden is going to be revealed anyway.
Yeah, that's just the spirit bringing that out.
The spirit's going to bring it out, which is going to further show you this is still incorrect.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? But
That's
so
why
like,
we're touching on it now.
right. And so like, just to reiterate the last thought, is just yeah, if you really cared about anybody, you wouldn't promote bad behavior, but you would be constantly internalizing yourself. But like the scriptures tell you, examine yourselves, know ye not your own selves. Are you even in this truth? Are you even walking?
And it said, the scriptures say that don't do anything to diminish your blame.
Yeah.
And you just giving Esau more material when they come down on us. You know.
I'll continue in verse 13.
Yeah.
Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
Yeah, beautiful. You know,
Because that's all the turn up spirit is fulfilling the lust. You know, you want to make sure that you can accommodate your own lust, rather than you. The whole point of this is to be a servant to the Most High. We're actually indebted a service to the Creator of worlds, man, to the Creator of existence. Like, what better service is there? You know, one thing I liked about that Bible movie that was on the History Channel was the way that they portrayed the angel when he talked to Abraham. And it was just like, I serve the Lord, I control the armies. And Abraham was like, well, shit, I serve the Lord, and I'm just a nobody. You know what I'm saying? He was like, but you control the armies, and he, you know, got like kind of kneeled down. And the angels always tell him, hey, don't worship me. That's, I'm just serving this guy, because it's like, but you serve him too. Hey, we're linked up now, you know. And so that's like, I appreciated them kind of showing that aspect, because there's a deeper meaning and a bond in there that two people could just immediately have synced up, because they're serving the same master. They know the same, you know, they're part of the same company. You understand the logistics of the company. You understand all that stuff. So, you know, clearly there's a lot of people out there that don't really know what they're involved in, and they think that it's a game. And no, man, this is
a place to hang out.
Yeah, no, this is a culture. This is a heritage. This is something that you should take serious, and you don't want to desecrate something that is so holy or separate.
That's right.
So,
yeah, this is the church of the firstborn, man. You know, this the spirits of just men made perfect.
Yeah.
You know, this is the tabernacle of David being built again. This is the church, the body of Yahweh Shai. That's separate from the harlot houses in the world,
Right.
the Muslim mosque and you know, all these different organizations. And oh man, this is the house of the Lord here, man. You know, so you have to treat it accordingly, man. We have to walk worthy of this holy calling where we were called.
The sheep, I was going to quote, funny it came to mind when you were saying that, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. You know, so did we all hear Yahweh's voice when we heard this word broken down the right way, and are we properly following after it?
that's a physical thing that takes place when you have a shepherd He'll call his sheep. They literally know the sound of his voice. You can't.
Yep.
It's not like a dog, where a dog you can tell to sit. Anyone can come in and tell the dog to sit. The dog will sit.
He knows the command.
He knows the command. He knows the sound. He knows the command. He knows the tone, the articulation, and he understands. Oh yeah, I got to be obedient to people.
Yep.
But the sheep is different, because the sheep, there's videos on YouTube. People will all go up to the fence and try to call, and he'll tell them how to call the sheep, exactly how he does it, and they all do it, and nothing. And then he goes and he gives them the same call, and you see him looking, and then they all start coming one by one. They just all mob him. They're like, yeah, that's why Yahushua said that. My sheep hear my voice.
Yep.
So we see these red words come to life. We see these red words come to life, and we're like, oh shit, we gotta go, move. And then as we're hearing it, we're like, you're not moving with haste and looking around like, aren't you guys gonna run away from it? But then you got the 2/3 like Edomites running towards the sound, turning up, celebrating. You're like, God damn, man, failed.
Yep. Who was reading that? That was reading.
That's good. That's
You got it.
Yeah,
You got it.
And this is 1 Peter 4:2 says that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of the Most High.
Yeah, you got to cut off those ways of the old men that you once were. Okay? Yeah, we all, when we were in the world, we enjoyed going out, having a good time, turning up, drinking in excess, and whatever other folly and sin or whatever we was, caught up in, unknowingly. But now that we know the responsibility is so much greater, and that we've done more than enough, that we can't continue pushing that type of vibration, because you just don't know, man. And particularly for me, any brothers that visited Vegas, you see, I don't go out like that. I don't be out in that nightclub atmosphere like that. And this is what was, anyway, one of the top places in the world to enjoy that type of energy. That's not me, because I have struggles with that. So I know not to put myself in there, and I'm not going to set the example for another man that may be struggling with that same vice, to put him into that environment like it's okay.
Because it sets up a stumbling block.
That's what I don't want to do.
You become used to that type of action, man. Which is really detrimental into the spirit. Because now you get rooted out by that.
Yeah.
It's like,
Quick one. 1 Corinthians 8:9. It says, "But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak."
They're beautiful. This liberty to become a stumbling block into them that are weak. They don't understand it.
And that's what Jake in that mentality of, well, I'm technically, you can't get me on a technical when it comes to the law.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But what about being a stumbling block to your brother who might see that what you're doing, it may not necessarily be against the law, but if done, excessively, immoderately, it can mess his whole world up. It can taint his soul, so to speak. So you're justifying your BS, because we can't get you on a technical. That is the wrong mindset to have, man. That's not a good example of leadership.
And that's why Yahushua said the weightier matters of the law is judgment, mercy, and faith. And when you look up judgment, it means your discernment, your ability to see through bullshit and determine right, an unbiased opinion. So when a lot of times you hear that, judgment, mercy, and faith, and your judgment just means make a decision. No. It's deeper than just making a decision. It's you actually examining the case unbiasedly, man.
Hearing the whole conclusion of the matter, playing things out,
taking your own personal motives, your own personal lust, taking all that out of equation.
I got a Galatians chapter 5, verse 18. I'm gonna read down. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest. Which are these?
So like, bro, can you Galatians 5, right?
Yeah.
Can you jump up to verse 13 and then go back down?
Come. Galatians 5:13. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh.
Yeah.
All right. There it is. Shall we continue in sin, or shall we continue in grace that sin may abound? God forbid.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? That's what it's talking about. Your liberty, because you have grace. Like, well, we got grace right now, so certain things we're covered for. And you're like, okay, you'll accept all that, but the things that are in your power to control, especially your own behavior, you're gonna radicalize that. You know?
But that's like putting off responsibility.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that the Christian church does.
That's why Yahweh Shah was getting on 2/3 in the wicked scribes and Pharisees so much.
Yeah.
He had all these bones. The same stuff we're seeing now is the same shit Yahweh Shah was dealing with, man. It's the same stuff he was digging at.
And thing that Jake doesn't understand is the influence of leaders.
Yeah.
That's huge, man. And especially because the scriptures say what? You're babes when you first come in, man. So those examples that are in front of you, the men that are older in age in the spirit, if you see them doing this or doing something adverse to the scriptures at a young age, that habit, you start to develop that habit, man. Same thing if you cussing around little kids, they ass gonna start cussing. They're gonna, exactly.
And when you said you start to do, you said bad habits, and then when you see them try to justify it by the scriptures, you're gonna do the same thing.
Exactly.
And it's just gonna be, it's gonna basically lead you to a path of destruction. It's like the scripture said, the blind lead the blind, you both shall fall into a ditch. And that ditch is gonna come in the form of a swift judgment, coming from Yahweh Shah.
That's why the Lord said it's better that you hang a millstone about your neck and be cast into the sea. Because you offending the little ones that believe, man.
Yeah. And most of the congregation of Israel have been watching the works of a lot of other camps, man, and they're looking at it like, hey, this shit's off. We like the way you teach, we like what you talk about, but that shit there was off. That doesn't make sense. And a lot of them are saying this is what happened. This is why we won't join the camp. This is why I won't be in the whole camp ABCD.
Right. Again, though, Yahweh Shah was like, well, look, John came neither eating nor drinking. He said he had a demon. The Son of Man comes eating and drinking, and
you say he got a demon.
And he said I got a demon.
Wine bibbler and a drunkard.
Right. Yeah. So it's the same thing, because that's the same thing they tell about. Oh, I like Great Millstone, but you guys X, Y, or Z. It's always something. It's like, look, if that's what, if you're gonna try to hinge your whole, why I didn't get salvation based on, well, they were actually doing the fucking work though. See, that's the difference. Is you're blaming people that are actually trying, and trying to teach others the same to do better and be better. So how better are you to just stand there doing nothing and playing the blame game? Oh, it's their fault. I can't get it together. That doesn't make any sense.
You should be an example, of what you believe is right. You still was holy, right?
Galatians chapter 5 verse 18. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance.
Hey, and I want to say this: we're not mad at you, camps, because you do go out there and teach Israel, but you have to be more mindful and more mature, because playtime's over, man. Be more mindful and more mature of what we're leading our people towards. We're leading our people in a revolution against the rulers of the world. We're leading our people in a revolution against society, man. Okay, against wickedness, when wickedness is where rulership is set up at. Okay. We're knocking these strongholds down that they took centuries to establish to this level. So this is an act of treason and an act of war.
Because this is for the word lasciviousness. It's an adjective in the Edom online, and I'm just gonna get to the points. Lustful, inclined to lust, lewdness, playfulness, fun, frolicsomeness, jollity.
Jollity.
It should just say turning up.
Those are some of the same synonyms for mirth.
Right. And mirth, folly.
Yep.
Hey, the Most High is not with this. Like, he's not, the Greek demigod Pan or whatever, the little goat man with the flute. Going to meet Bacchus, the god of wine, and throwing this love party with Aphrodite, and come on, man, like, stop watching Hercules and shit. And
start
actually
seeing it in that way.
Get in the right mindset, because
you're looking at mythologically with too much exaggerated imagination on it versus the reality of it.
Right. The reality is, you're X amount of years old when you came in, and you're growing and getting older. You're supposed to be maturing into a man and putting off childish behavior, as the scripture said. When you were a child, you spake as a child.
You thought as a child.
You thought as a child.
As a child.
Right, but now, hey, you put off childish things, and you're supposed to become a man.
Another scripture I want to quote.
In malice be ye children, but in understanding be ye men.
Another one I want to quote was I'm trying to remember how it go, but it speaks about bastard slips. You know, you can't continually make the same old mistakes with these bastard slips. If you see that people keep getting on you about a certain something, then you have to really examine yourself about, well, I stopped doing that. Well, maybe you didn't stop the root of what you're doing, which for most of us is just we have to fully mature. Okay, we have to develop a fully mature mind about what we're into and what we're guiding the people that follow us.
Because Jake doesn't understand that the gravity of the situations that we're in, man. Hey, you being a leader, you may know how to, you know, to shut it off and turn it on, you know, when needed. But a brother that's under you, hey, that's young, that's a babe, hey, he don't know how to live. You know, he don't know how to live according to the spirit, being that young. So he needs that example of seeing it in order to live according to the spirit when you're not around.
That's right.
So if all he sees is bullshit and folly, when you're not around, and him walking in his daily life, all he's gonna be doing is bullshit and folly.
That's what he saw when you.
Because that's what those are the examples around.
Yeah, it'll be a reflection of you.
Exactly, man.
If you're a brawling type of person, the men up under you are gonna be brawlers. They don't think it's okay to be out there getting into scraps and brawls and shit. When, you know, just any type of characteristics, you know, that you show, your students are gonna pick up on that, man.
Right.
So that's why it's critical, man. You gotta really, you know, put your mind into it.
Because with maturity comes, you know, you being able to become yourself within the spirit, man. While you're still pleasing Yahweh Shema Shai.
Right.
The purpose of your walk doesn't change, but you start to understand who you are, man, in the spirit, while you glorifying Yahweh Shema Shai. You're not able to do that, hey, if you're just pleasing to the flesh, man, and you're not able to turn it off.
Yep.
You know?
If you was at school and all day was recess, what would the kids learn?
Exactly.
It's a small moment for that time.
And recess was just for a teacher to have a break. That's why there's 2:15.
And for the kids to really, and then for the kids to get that energy out their system so they can sit and behave in class. Which Jake is the worst at that. You know?
And they take a recess out of schools, man.
Because you got to understand the whole vibration of the world is in wickedness and folly. So where's the separation when you get into the truth?
Right.
You know, because the elder Uriah brought up what the word holy, man, meaning what's separate.
Yeah.
So you should be able to see the clear distinction of the bullshit in the world versus the serious solemnness of the truth, man.
And they always, that's why y'all talk, you know, some of the people slander us with GMS, they don't have no fun, they don't have a good time, they hate women, and these things couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah,
we just understand how to deal with it, especially in the eyes of the congregation.
When we eat and drink and joke and laugh
and rejoice
and rejoice, we're not putting that for display for the world to see.
When the ways we entertain ourselves, we don't put that out there for the world to see. We may reference some things that we pay attention to, but we don't put it to you as this is what we do, and this is the, because we understand something that I may watch, like Mother Apostle Tahar tells us, yeah, y'all go and watch some other camps, go and watch some other doctrines, but don't be mad if you fall out because of it. It's because you ain't ready. Okay, if that's what you want to do, make sure your foundation is rooted. We set it up. If y'all ain't following the protocol, you can easily get uprooted out of this thing. Okay, but that's because he and the rest of the elders, apostles, and the elders have been looking well to the flock to make sure that we're fully instructed on the ways that we should be behaving ourselves as representatives of men of the Lord.
Because Jake is easily motivated, man. Either they're motivated by righteousness or it's going to be by wickedness. And you have to remember that you're always being watched, man.
Yeah.
Always. They don't. Hey, Yahweh Shai is always watching. The angels are always watching. Hey, but you have men, of all ages always watching you, man.
Yeah, it's
You don't know who's clicking on those videos, man.
Yeah, e-watching.
Bro.
But that's
Yep.
this is why the scripture says that he that is evil, to whom will he be good?
Yep.
Because for a person to behave in a type of manner like that and not care, have a total disregard
Bro,
for
His
himself,
own good name.
why the hell, if you're in the right mind, would you want to be around that? So that's why, you know, people judge you on the company you keep. The scriptures tell you to judge a book by its cover. A man shall be known by his gate. So
Excessive laughter and yeah,
right,
music.
the scriptures tell you that's why I don't understand. Like, you know, I was like, man, what the hell? Like, it's weird that this is even a topic. But
Yeah.
you can see how deep it
Yeah.
goes into it, because really it's
It's a serious topic.
it is a serious topic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, man, it really puts into perspective how destroyed of a people we are. And because you've hated knowledge, the Most High is going to reject you, that you'll be no priest to him. That's the first. That's your whole duty. What's the whole duty of man?
Yeah.
You know,
Fear the Most High. and
keep
the
the command. You got 2 jobs.
Yep.
You got 1 job.
Yep.
Like, honestly, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you got 1 function: pass the butter. Like, it should be that
Yeah.
simple of a mechanical process. Like, my job is to pass the butter. This is how easy this is supposed to be. I wish I said that. You know, the yoke is easy and the burden is light, man.
Yep.
It's not difficult, you know. But here it is. We're dealing with, like the brother was saying, bastard slips. A bastard is someone without a father. A bastard is someone who behaves improperly. And so when you don't have a father and you're a bastard, you're going to behave improperly. And that's why the elders always talk about all these guys that are just raised by women. Women raise the worst types of men.
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't raise men.
They don't.
Let's
They
just be real
can't.
about it.
They are. It's impossible for a woman to really raise a man.
Right.
She's got to be old school, and even then, she's gonna come short.
And she still has to have him around a good coach, a father figure, or somebody.
Someone's got to fill in these
Yeah.
roles that she can't do.
Right.
Okay,
Z,
of course.
you still holding Z?
This is Sirach 30.
Go back to you.
Sirach 31 and verse it's like in 32, 31 and verse no, actually it's like in 30, Sirach 30 and 8, and it says, on a horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful.
Without this,
In single parent homes, where it's the mother raising the child, that's a little monster right there,
Yep.
because he doesn't have instruction.
yeah, he want to smoke with cigarettes and do hood rat things with his friends.
Yeah, no discipline, you know. And but you got men who are raised like that are actually leaders in Israel,
That's right.
and it shows through
Yep.
their behavior
That's right.
and how they're leading their men.
Yeah, you don't expect people like that to get far in life.
How the hell?
As short as this life could be, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You don't expect them to get too far.
You got it, Z. Let's read a bunch of these precepts.
Galatians chapter 5, I'm going to start at 18 again.
Mm-hmm.
But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and revelings, like, yeah, revelings.
To revel, that's what a turning up is.
Yep.
You know, is a revelry, man. Go ahead.
And such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not enter into the kingdom.
Wait. This isn't the first time this has ever been said. He said, as I told you, even in times past,
Yep.
they that have these behaviors and mannerisms, this character, what's going to happen to them?
They that which do such things shall not enter in the kingdom of the Most High.
That sounds pretty serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? If this is what you're doing, and you're supposed to have the helmet of the hope of salvation,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine you go to war, you put a helmet on. I hope this fucking helps.
Yeah.
Right.
You're putting on this with the hope of salvation. Like, man,
Yeah, I'm
you
doing this.
you hope
for
this is
reason.
gonna stop a bullet.
Yeah.
You see that scene in Private Ryan? He hears the thing. He's like, oh shit, and he pulls it off to look, and he sees it, and then
Boom, the head gets blown off.
it's taken off. Took off the helmet.
Yep.
His mind wasn't protected no more.
His hope was gone.
His hope was gone. He took his
Yeah.
hope away.
You gotta go.
Verse 22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
Sounds like a chill, turned down spirit.
Yep.
Right.
That's
But
what it
not,
sounds like.
not angry and pissed, not necessarily either. That's not the right mind state to be in as well. So we're not saying to be in a solemn, just
Woe
you
is
know,
me
woe
spirit.
is me spirit.
Be balanced.
But
man.
be serious,
Yeah,
man.
be balanced.
Keep a balance of yourself. Understand that the overall thing that we're talking about was the first scripture the brother read, was written therein, and therein and without is lamentations, mourning as well. That these are the things that are coming that we have to process through the spirit and still find a way to be hopeful in a rejoicing type spirit, but not energy, that the people that follow you will have that same expectation of good to come. That, hey, we're getting out of here. You know, Lord willing, I can fulfill my course and I can make it to the end of my race. That I'll be accepted of Yahweh Shah. Okay? Versus being accepted of men on social media, being accepted of men in your congregation because you the toughest, baddest on the block. Okay? That was Izzy.
No, I got more.
Okay, go ahead.
And verse 24, and they that are Yahweh Shai's have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory.
So, like, when you crucify something, what happens to that something? It dies.
Yeah.
It dies. Like,
Mortified.
it's not gonna. You put anything on a cross, on a you crucify it, it's gonna die. It's not gonna live. Right. So the scriptures are telling you, hey, you're supposed to crucify your flesh, your lust, your desires, man.
Mortify your
Yeah, mortifying your members. So how are you still carrying on these old traditions of yourself and recreating them in this new thing where that doesn't exist?
Israelite twist.
Right. You know? Yeah, it's an Israelite twist to it. So you go to a restaurant, be like, oh, there's a tiki twist to this place. There's tiki heads all over the place.
Yeah.
Right?
But they still serve cheeseburgers and fries and
Tater
regular shit
tots,
from
yeah,
everywhere
got your onion rings, yeah.
Yeah. No,
So-
man, this is a full new restaurant, new diet, new lifestyle.
Right. You see, so it's like Jake doesn't really read. He's just
Reading comprehension, bro.
Right.
It's an
the
issue.
comprehension
Okay.
thing, man.
It is. You got it, bro.
Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. So that's about it.
Yeah.
Right, because that's usually what a turn up mirth spirit is you're trying to like boast, brag, right? And who are you trying to do it bigger and better than? That you got to have an example before you, which shows that you're envious or jealous that, oh, that I'm gonna do it better.
Yep.
That's Jake's mentality from the street. You tell me, yeah, don't get into that rap game, it's all fixed. Yeah, but I'm gonna do it different. How?
Yeah. You're still talking on music and rhythm.
Right. How? How do you do it different? How do you break the mold? You're not gonna do it, man. You can't break the mold, man. Whether it's, look at Edom was set up, the Most High set us up, and everything's been set up in its place. The molds are fixed. They're not gonna be broken. The Most High has to totally destroy that, man, if he wants to.
You got
That's
it,
right.
right?
Yeah, I got some. This is all Ezekiel 21, and I'll start at verse 8. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished.
Continue.
It is sharpened to make its sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth?
I knew that was coming. Like, all the death and destruction is set before us, but you ain't concerned about what that sharp sword is
Exactly.
gonna be slicing and chopping and killing.
And
That's not of your worries at all.
We are to diligently measure the times.
Yeah.
All right, we're in the times where the devil is about to come down with great wrath.
Shit, we still in a
All right?
global pandemic,
Thank you.
and that's the type of spirit, you know, that Jake is pushing out there. Yeah, we know it's, you know, BS, but still, you got to understand what Esau's trying to do. Esau's end game by doing that. You know,
Yes.
Esau not playing about his, you know, his new world order.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna start lining people up. You know, you're not complying. You know, with his great reset. You know, he's looking to separate people
Yeah.
and put them on list, special type of list.
He's been
He's
doing
setting
that
up the
already.
domestic terrorist list.
Yes, sir.
And all you that's in that turned up
You're
jovial
already
spirit,
on the list.
you're on that list.
Southern poverty, you're already on.
So I don't understand why you would celebrate when, you know, your enemy is about to, you know, come for your neck.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah, like,
yeah, it says that was that Psalms 37 that the wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. They got plans, man,
Yeah.
and they putting it in. They finna put it into action.
Yeah. You coming down, having a great ride. You see-
And they have the power in their hand to do it. The Lord gave them that, man.
Yeah.
So really, that's why you should fear the Most High, man, and take heed to the Spirit.
Yep. That's what.
Who Esau is the rod of the Assyrian in the Lord's hand.
That's right.
The Lord's going to control Esau to start moving.
Hey, because he's not happy with that type of spirit that you're in. You're not in the proper spirit as his son is in. You're not in the proper spirit that his servants should be in. You're setting a bad example, and he has to get rid of you. Somebody said this. I remember one of the elders said it way back when we first came in. They were saying, you know why Tupac and Biggie have to go? Because them niggas was bad examples to you people. And you people was following them wholeheartedly like they were the Messiah.
imagine if the niggas was alive.
Still alive
and
now,
they had-
still in that?
And they had Twitter and
Bro,
Instagram and shit.
Tupac would be the hottest trending topic, you know, I mean, as far as...
They would be at them niggas Passovers, bro.
Bro,
Oh, man.
you know? Let him, you got one right now?
Real quick.
Okay, then you got one.
Isaiah 10:5, it says, O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation.
Righteous
I will send him against an hypocritical nation.
Mm-hmm.
Hypocritical nation.
Yeah.
And against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets.
Why would we be happy when that's how our Lord feels about us? What says, fear him not that can kill the body, but rather fear him that can destroy both body and soul in the grave or in hell. So why would you not be on fear mode, man? Trying to, you know, you should be tucking your shirt in and presenting yourself before the Lord, man. Saying that analogy as far as using the wisdom and applying it to your daily life, that you should be pulling up from the wisdom you should be pulling from out of these scriptures.
When you realize, or if you believe that our righteousness is as filthy rags, when was the last time you got in your best rags and went out trying to pull something?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you out here walking around like we're not dirty? Like we're not supposed to have some level of shame to us, man.
Right.
Like it's a weird mindset, but it's a young mindset. That's what it really is. And it doesn't have to be young just because of the age. It's a young mentality. That's a young man's thinking game.
Right.
You know.
Did you think you're gonna get the glory on the earth before Yahushua get his?
Thank you.
Yahushua, he has to be glorified first.
He's the first.
He's
Yeah, he's the first fruit, first spirit created.
yeah. You know, Yahushua, he got to come back and get his glory.
And he gonna take it.
Come.
Yep.
And then he's gonna set up the kingdom. He's gonna sit on the highest throne. And then he said to his disciples, you know, if you overcome, you know, when you
Endure.
basically when you eat with me in the regeneration, you know, you're gonna be sitting on thrones. He also said that you're gonna drink of the vine new with me in my Father's kingdom.
I was holding down. Come, you got it.
You know,
I was about to drop
that moment ain't happening. That's when we gonna turn up. That's when we gonna be, hey, let's get lit. And we're gonna have the best of the best.
I gotta read it, bro.
You're gonna have, you know, cause
Yeah, best
you think them
pure white
purple, you
garments.
think them purple garments or something. That's like,
Yeah,
you know, that's bumware. They call us bum like
yeah.
that's bumware compared to the glory in the kingdom that we're gonna have.
Yeah, I'll be embarrassed to wear one of these garments on this side of the kingdom.
I'd be embarrassed to wear one of them.
Spike
Yeah,
bears.
with all of that, I'd be
You know what I'm
embarrassed.
saying?
to
What
wear
the
that.
hell is that, man? You ain't gonna be wearing no shit like that in the kingdom,
Right.
man.
Right.
You know?
Yep. Let me hit that because I was holding that one.
Right.
Matthew 20,
And we
20
still gotta, because there was more than that, right?
Yep,
We gonna
Matthew
return back.
26 and 29. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of the fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.
Right.
Man.
We're not there yet, man.
Right, we're not at that
type of
level.
spirit.
Yeah. They got, I mean, because they got fabrics like a lotus silk, where they take silk from the lotus plant.
Mhm.
This lady in Vietnam, she makes these little scarves. It takes them like 200 people in 3 months to make like 3 or 6 scarves or something.
Wow.
So imagine, you know, and it's a little scarf just to put over your head, like it's thin, nice material. Imagine having a whole garment of something that's just, you know,
Yep.
just
Okay,
all
quality.
perfect,
Yeah,
natural,
flawless.
flawless. You know, colored and colored but woven the right way. So it's Yahweh Shai's garment was all one piece.
Yeah.
How do you loom together that? Like, man,
Yeah.
that's
He was
what
taller
you,
than all the rest.
man. Hey,
Yeah.
we'll be turning up like the brother said in the kingdom, and there's all these other things to look forward into. So rather than using your time into investigating folly and you know, rumors and all this other dumb stuff, why don't you think, you know, highly, study more, and then look more into like, you know,
Yeah.
better things, like more, you know,
Prudent things for the future versus
yeah,
the moment.
you know, hope on the future, man. You know,
You have more, right? Yeah, it must. About that part of
And
it.
then we can start
Yeah.
start wrapping this.
So, just, so let's just run through our precepts and that it'll break themselves down. You can break them down probably. You're just saying,
Continuing it on.
let's be reading, it'll be more clear.
On
You got-
verse 10, I say it, Ezekiel 21, verse 10. It is sharpened to make his sword slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contaminated the rod of my son as every tree. And he had given it to be furbished that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer.
Y'all know who the Slayer is.
That destroyed.
You know? Esau going back to when after the blessing, when Isaac gave Jacob the blessing, and then what did he say when he was in
You're
mourning?
my brother.
Now would I utterly destroy my brother Jacob?
Then will I slay my brother Jacob?
Yep.
And that sword is still in his hand. That
Yeah.
blessing is still in his hand.
So he got it with Philip of Macedon. They ain't set it down 100%. You know,
I got
they've
one
been
more.
wielding that thing the best of their ability.
One more verse.
Yep.
Verse 12. Cry and howl, O son of man, for it shall be upon my people. It shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thigh. And that was it. Because we could go a little bit more, but that was the point, that the sword is being sharpened, you know. Esau is still in power.
Yeah.
We're still in
gotta come down with
captivity,
great-
you know.
Still gotta come down with great wrath.
We're still in captivity, you know, and Esau's still he's still plotting against us, you know. He's planning to move on us, you know. So we're not in the time to be celebrating anything right now.
Yeah.
You got it by
That's 1 Peter 5 and 8.
Yep.
It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour.
I remember when we were in LA and we used to go out after camp and everything, and it's got to a point where we would always see these chicks, man, just good looking chicks. We'd be out doing the brotherly thing, and we were like, yeah, we want to be around them. And then it got to a point where we were going out, and the Spirit would never let us, catch a bone type of deal, right? Till the brother was like, you know what, forget this, man. We're done on Saturdays after camp trying to chill with women. Let's just go home. and just chill amongst each other and do our thing. And that mind state became that turn down and go be amongst each other in holy conversation. That's the mind state we begin to have. Okay, and when we followed after that in such a way that we wasn't even really looking to be out in that type of vibration. Don't get me wrong, we all every once in a while we'll go out, but we wasn't just seeking it week after week like we at first did.
Yeah, moderation.
Yeah.
You know, do everything in moderation. But the devil, he knows, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
if there's a weakness that you
Yeah.
have, and it's always in the flesh,
Yes,
he's gonna
sir.
play on that weakness.
Yeah.
That's where he devours you through your lust.
So we hit this quick one to land back on what you said, what he said. Sirach chapter 2. I started at 1, it's only down like 3 or 4. It says, that I want to read. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, get your mind right and mature, right? And constantly endure. Make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
Right. So like make not haste in the time of trouble. Don't depart so soon from the Most High. Like why would you put up this front that yeah I'm rocking with them then when stuff gets real, you abandon the plan. You don't default to your belief in him. So that's why it said immediately after, cleave unto him. Don't make a haste to fall or run out of the tower, to run out of the protection zone.
Keep hold it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stay strong in there. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state.
Suffer.
Mhm.
Patience is suffering. You know, the same thing with the word passion. Passion means to suffer. You say, what's your passion? What do you suffer for?
Yep.
You know?
Verse
Yeah,
4.
Abishai said, in your patience possess ye your souls.
Yep.
On your sufferings.
Yep. Verse 5, it says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable mint in the furnace of adversity.
Man, it doesn't sound like that's a turn up spirit, man. I just can't conclude it any other way. You know?
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
got it, bro.
we probably need those 3D glasses or something.
I gotta go back up there.
Yeah, wherever you at.
First Peter 5, I'm gonna start at the top. Yeah, it says, the elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Yahushua, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, nor not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over the Most High's heritage.
These are mature mind states that he's listed. Go ahead.
But being in samples to the flock.
Yeah.
Examples.
Now go back to 4. Yeah.
This 4 and 3. 1 Peter 4 and 3. It says, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries.
That's Israel playing the harlot.
Yep.
That's when Israel was turned up. Was when they were being disobedient to the Most High.
Yep.
That was the whole. Even the story with the prodigal son. He went to go turn up,
Yeah.
and then he was like, "Man, this ain't the life after all.
Oh shit, I'm broke.
This is
I'm hurt.
difficult." And then he
Lost.
turned back down and came home and he humbled himself.
Yep.
The Most High was like, "Yeah, when you're ready to, turn down,
Serious.
then you can come in." You know, it's the same way with an animal or a child that's acting up this way and that way. You don't give it that no attention. Hey, work through your bullshit. When you behave the right way, I'll acknowledge your presence.
Now let me give a lesson that's deeply that we haven't stated, but this is what is within us. That same prodigal son statement, when the elder son, who was the good son, doing what he was supposed to do in the right spirit, he's like, hey man, you ain't making a party for me. I didn't go out and blow all of my inheritance. I've been doing everything right here with you. Yeah, but you're with me. Okay, so what we're saying is, because the father said, hey, my son has returned alive. We thought he was dead. He's back.
Right.
So this is an admonishment also for you men to get your minds right and to watch how you're leading your flocks, man.
Because the
In your
Most High
church.
is full of mercy and forgiveness.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But you got to turn it around.
Yeah,
Like,
you
'cause-
got to do the work to turn
Hey,
it
you
around.
got to do it because
Yeah.
us saying specifically on this video, that video, this year, that year, and the repetitive patterns, and like a RICO case or something.
Yep.
You're not gonna listen to us, and it's not gonna mean anything unless you do it willingly, wholeheartedly, turning yourself over.
You want the Most High to come down and tell you? Trust me, you don't want that.
That's what
You don't speak with words.
That's what Jacob the Wilderness wanted.
Right.
Yeah,
wanna
you
talk
don't
to
come
him.
down with wrath and fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
That was it.
Oh, that was it on that. No, that's good. That's good. You don't have anything else? I got I can just drop these for one. Let me make sure nothing. Nope. Yeah, I can just read this one. This is 1 John chapter 4. I'll start at verse 4. It says, "Ye are of the Most High, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them." Consider the example you're setting. Are you setting an example that you're still in the world to your congregation? Or are you setting the example that you just do the work of the Lord, but you're still in the world? Or are you setting the example that you're separate from the world and you're doing the work of the Lord? Okay? It says, "We are of the Most High, and he that knoweth the Most High." You want to say that?
No, I was just gonna say, because when you give the image of the world, just like the priests, they wasn't showing the separation between what was profane and what was holy. And we was going into that a couple of weeks ago. The Lord is broadening, that
Separation.
that separation between those who's fully serving Him and those who isn't.
Yep.
There is no middle wall anymore. There's no common ground.
You're either in the bar or you're in the burn pile.
That's it. That's it, man.
Verse 6, it says, "We are of the Most High. He that knoweth the Most High heareth us. He that is not of the Most High heareth us not."
And the word, so like the word of, even in the mathematical language, it means like by. You know, of in another sense is like a son of, like bond.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we are sons of the Most High. Like literally, we are that extension. We are a byproduct of that. You know, so this is why the elders always get on, learning your words, man.
Yeah.
You know, in school, my English teacher always told us that, like, just learn your root words, Latin, Greek root words, because you'll hear a word, and you'll be able to kind of figure out what the hell it means.
They say learn prefixes and suffixes. Also, that'll help you. That helps.
Prefix, the suffix.
Like what you're saying, it's like an extension. Because what you were saying with of, you have in math, you have what is over of multiplied by a percent over 100. Which is able to find the percent out of that whole piece.
Yeah.
Or even when you say 2 out of 5, 2 out of 5. You're trying to find out how much of that 2 is of that. Yeah, of that 5 is that 2.
You just lost 4/5 of the nation of Israel, bro. Nobody followed that.
No, but hey, for you that do understand it, you may have needed that equation because it still makes sense, man. The point is,
Math, it means
Math.
truth.
truth.
Kind.
Yeah.
And that's a language that's universally truth spoken. It's math. You can go to a Korean engineer and a Japanese engineer, and they put these numbers together, like, oh yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
I read this in 1 John 4:6. It says, "We are of the Most High. He that knoweth the Most High heareth us. He that is not of the Most High heareth us, heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error." Okay, don't be in the spirit of error. Turn the thing around, man, and fix it. That's what we truly hope. That everybody gets on board with that. And where our shortcomings are, we hope that we shore those up as well before that great notable day of the Lord.
So hey, man, playtime is over, man.
Yeah.
All right, get serious. All right, fight the good fight, man.
That's right.
With the times that we heading into, we're gonna need, that stability. They say that we ain't in time for partying and turning up, and but see, these other guys, they're just an example. The Lord, He left them to be an example. All right, and you have also the men that are being righteous examples.
That's right.
So you might want to, pick up on your discernment, man. All right, but hey, understanding the times that we're in, We got to be more wise, man. Okay? And that's not to say, you know, because brothers that get the wrong idea and think that, you know, they saying that we can't drink, we can't do, we can't be happy, we can't. No, it's a balance, man.
It's a timing for everything.
Hey, if you want to listen to some music, listen to some music, man. If you want to drink, have you a drink, man.
Yeah, it's okay to entertain yourself and have a good time.
You know.
But in moderation and in the proper context of mind.
Yeah, but all the videos you should be putting up is supposed to be coming edifying.
Nothing but edification. That's all we should be seeing, man.
We should be seeing.
Like the brother said, the works are, he read the precepts, and their works are manifest.
Exactly.
You know, so you want your works to be able to speak on your behalf when you have no voice. That's what a resume is. That's what a lineage is. That's what somebody's legacy is.
That's what respect is.
Right. These are, hey, work speaks for itself. I don't gotta say nothing. You're like, well, tell me about yourself. Nah, I'll show you about myself. Here's my portfolio. Here's my resume. This is what I've done, what I have accomplished. Blah, blah.
Put some respect on
What I bring to the table.
Yeah. I mean, but see, that's the problem. A lot of Jakes don't know what a job is, you know, or just professionalism in general. You know, it's like, no, man, you really gotta. When you look at like men of the Lord and all these men that we read about, a lot of them were in high levels of office, of government, running cities, over people. You know what I'm saying? It's like this top tier. This is management level stuff that you're getting into. You're going to be a nation, you know, a leader over a lot of people.
Yes,
there's a managerial skills, that are coming into play here, man. So you got to, you know, get things in order, man. The Most High deals with order, man.
That's it.
It's like we could be here all day.
God. Hey, so with that, we're going to close. We're going to give all praise, glory, and honor to
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash.
double honors to the elder apostles of the great Muslim who well. Peace and salutation to the elect. We're going to say shalom.
Shalom.
You got it. So technical fingers work better, bro.
Yes, I'm not. Not you,
What's the plug, bro?
The plug down the phone, so I know that it is done.
Okay.
Brother, watch us out, brought out the scripture and